Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. I guess we've got to do the testing, good old testing, 1, 2, because I tried to do this video already and there was no sound. I'm just going to get into it. We're not going to wait for nobody. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to push right in it. Today, we are going to be discussing Happy Gilmore 2, the sequel that should have never been had. Then we're going to talk about King of the Hills revival because it is not a reboot. I'll give you an example of a reboot when we talk about it. And then after that, if I feel like it, we're going to talk about another movie that I watched. It's called Locked. It had Anthony Hopkins in it. Hannibal Lecter, ring a bell. Bill Skarsgård, I'm pretty sure he was it from It. He was Pennywise from It. The clown, they all float. Okay. Oh, you know what? Well, that was Tim Curry, right? I don't know. Whatever. Either way, it is what it is. We're up. Sound is happening. I know y'all can hear me. I know y'all can hear me. So we're gonna get right into it. Literally, maybe I'll post it. Maybe just for like funsies, funsy dunsies. Maybe I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about Wednesday, but guess what? I ain't watched Wednesday. I watched Sakamoto. I love Sakamoto. I love Sakamoto. Sakamoto is an anime that I can deal with because guess what? First of all, let's just go down this little. We haven't had a good rant in a long time. Why? I'm back. I'm back. Yes, we're gonna have a long rant right now. We're gonna go down the road of ranthood because Sakamoto doesn't have the women being naked every 2 seconds. Sakamoto doesn't have the women having to be saved every 2 minutes. Sakamoto, like, and I was a little upset because there was an episode where I thought that he taught his wife, this dude who was an assassin, who was like, oh, I'm just going to retire and ain't nobody going to come after me. So I'm going to just have a wife and kids. I thought you actually trained your daughter. I thought you actually trained your wife. I haven't read the manga, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Please, I hope to everything that I'm wrong. But it seems to me that he's not teaching his wife or child how to defend themselves. He's like, well, I'll always be here. That's one thing I don't like about Sakamoto. If it changes, it changes. As of right now, this moment, I ain't seen them do squat diddly, but be at the right place in the right time. And I'm not saying there are some women in Sakamoto. There are 3 women in Sakamoto that do anything. 3. A whole whopping 3, because we usually just have one. We usually just have one anyway. And you can be like, oh, there's so many girls in Naruto. There's so many, but who wants to be who? Y'all only want to be the girls when they're attractive. You only want to be the girls when they're eye candy. The guys, they can be butt ugly, and y'all are still wanting to be them. Y'all are still wanting their powers. Y'all are still wanting this, that, and the third. I'm not going to argue with you about it. That's my side thing about Sakamoto. We're not going to talk about that because I didn't even put that in the description. We are not going to talk about that. If you want to know my opinion about King of the Hill, I have said plenty in my first video. Does it need a revival? Can a revival happen? It most certainly could. I ultimately said it could, but it might be difficult. It was ahead of its time. Y'all would call it too woke. I am so serious. Go watch the previous ones if you guys think that I am lying to you. Please, I hope you think I'm lying. Go watch the previous ones. They're all on Hulu. Find a way to watch it. But literally, y'all would call King of the Hill too woke. It handled a lot. It handled a lot, even being the Republican slop it was. And I'm gonna say the conservative Republican slop it was. It's still adhered to patriarchy. It's still adhered to patriarchy, but we are literally not on that part yet. We are going to talk about Happy Gilmore 2, the sequel that should have never existed. First of all, I have big beef with Adam Sandler. I have big beef with Adam Sandler because he just literally walks on set, like he just does whatever, and you have to follow him with the camera because that's all you're going to get from him. When all of the movies that he's made, the garbage, scum, diddly scrap, trash movies he's made, on one hand, I can count how many good movies Adam Sandler has made. And one of them is most definitely Happy Gilmore 1. If you want to know my wholehearted opinion about Happy Gilmore 1 singular, the first one that was good, I literally linked it in the description. You can watch it after this live, or you can watch it after this video when I make this a video. Literally, Happy Gilmore 2 was tragic trash and piece of garbage. Every person I ask about Happy Gilmore, they're literally like, I'd rather just watch the first one. If you make a sequel, like let's I told you, I am back in high demand. I am back with my rants. We are ranting today. Shrek. Shrek, everyone knows Shrek, right? I'm not just saying something that y'all don't know, because I literally will talk to someone that's 20 years old at like a job or out in public, and I'm like, what? Y'all don't know stuff? It's very surreal. It's very surreal. But literally, Shrek. Shrek 2 is so good. You can watch Shrek 2 and be fine and not be like, man, I sure miss Shrek 1. When you watch Shrek 2, you're not really thinking about Shrek 1. I'm only thinking about the fact that slowly Fiona stopped being the independent princess that she started out as, even though she was still manhandled. He ain't manhandled her since. I'm gonna tell you that right now. When she's morphed from an Anglo-Saxon woman into a Shrek, into a ogre, he ain't do nothing like that. He could barely get her up. He could barely get her up on their wedding night. I'm gonna just say that right now. He ain't manhandling her, and I'm saying she's muscular too. It's not fat that she's carrying around. That's muscle, son. She carried that girl with one hand, threw her to the sharks yards away. But it's a little ridiculous. I'm telling you. You watch Shrek, the first Shrek, Fiona is beating people as an Anglo-Saxon woman. She's not even, she don't even, and yeah, you could be like, well, she didn't have anybody to fight. She was at her house. She was at her mama's house. Yeah. Okay, whatever. We could play that game. And you could say, oh, well, Shrek isn't doing a lot of that. But what I will say is that Shrek, you can watch all of the Shreks and at least have one instance in which he's doing some sort of physical action. But it doesn't matter because Shrek wasn't the one that was the fighter. Fiona was. Fiona was the fighter. Shrek was fighting for his life. Fiona was a fighter. See the difference? This is just literally going on a rant about how y'all, we did not need Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore could have ended and I would have been so grateful because what we have now in the canon is sick and twisted. It's sick and twisted. And what I will say about Adam Sandler is his family won't ever go hungry and his friends will never go hungry. Rob Schneider, that disgusting piece of garbage trash, sin dipped in misery scrub, garbage piece of trash. Rob Schneider or whatever his name is. Whatever his name is. That you can do it. We'll wake her up. We got a game to... He's disgusting and he's not funny. I hate to break it to everybody. That male is not funny. I can't think of a single funny thing he's done. Can't. Animal, that movie, The Animal, sick. Nasty. That's why he was not chosen to be one of the 4 guys in Grown Ups. Because ain't nobody got time for him. He's not funny. And the people he even chose are not really funny. They're not really funny. Like, one of them's funny because they love to do these gags with people who are overweight. And they think that's the funny joke. That's the funny thing about it. Paul Blart. You know who I'm talking about. Paul Blart. Ball Cop. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was in Grown Ups with Adam Sandler and the least funniest Chris in Hollywood, Chris Rock. Chris Tucker is the most. He's the funniest Chris in Hollywood. And he likes to play games and be like, well, I don't want that to be associated. I hate to break it to you, bro. After everything you've ever done in your whole entire life, people still call you Smokey. You didn't want to be looked at. You were like, you found God. Hallelujah. You still Smokey. You still smoky, unfortunately. And that's just is what it is. You did it. You did it. And it's so funny because going back watching Friday, it's not even like a well put together movie. I never realized that Ice Cube, first of all, Ice Cube is not a good actor. We could just put that on the floor right now. I never watched that movie where he's sitting in the front of the camera and it's one of those stupid movies. I don't watch movies where it's just um the camera, like what's it called? Witches of like Blair Witch Trials or whatever. I don't watch that type of found footage. I don't like that. I'm on my phone or I'm on my laptop type of movie. It's okay to do it for a little bit, like for Victorious, that was a little cool way they talk to each other. That was cool because it was only for a little bit. We had regular time. We had regular time in regular life, and that was great. It was cool sometimes because they did it on iCarly. They did it a lot on Nickelodeon for some reason. It's like whatever. It's cool. And I do think that they try to do. There's a lot that I have like conspiracy theories with how Nickelodeon, how that whole thing went down, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But we could just tread back. We could just trudge back. Like we're not even about that, bro. Let's trudge back to Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 2 was terrible. Adam Sandler was horrible in it. Every other scene was a scene set back to the first movie, literally verbatim. And I thought it would be a little funny if they just remade the scene. That would have been funnier to me. To me. And a lot of people don't have like I will laugh at something, people are like, that's not funny, but it's even funnier that you said it wasn't. My sense of humor is a little different, but I thought like that's what I expected from them to do, like to remake the scenes. And yeah, a lot of people are not alive from the first movie. Like the grandma, she's certainly passed on. Chubbs, he's passed on, unfortunately. Um, there's a lot of people who didn't make it. Dude from The Price is Right, he's gone. There was just some scenes they couldn't remake. So I guess they were like, well, we can't do that. We can't do that gag. Because I'm telling you right now, that would have been so hilarious. That would have added one more point. Because I'm going to tell you right now, y'all don't even have to sit here and wait for it. It's a 3 out of 10. It's a 3 out of 10 being gracious, being very gracious. And if your sequel has most of your clips or a great deal of portion of your clips coming from the first movie, the sequel isn't ready. It doesn't have enough substance to sit on its own. That's why I brought up Shrek. Because when you watch Shrek 2, you're not necessarily like, oh my goodness, I miss Shrek 1. Let me go back and watch Shrek 1. It's like, oh, Shrek 1 was so good. We can watch it all. We can watch it all. I don't think I will ever watch Happy Gilmore 2 ever again in my life. I'm done with it. Marshall Mathers being in it, did not care. By the way, this is a spoiler review of everything that we talk about. It's a spoiler review. Marshall Mathers is the son of the dude that was like, Jackie, Jackie. Like he literally was the heckler that old dude hired so that he could get Happy off the tour. I love Happy Gilmore 1. I love Happy Gilmore 1. It's so fun. So basically, Happy Gilmore 1 starts with the Adam Sandler's like dad being crazy, and he's like, oh, I'm really into hockey or whatever. And then his wife leaves him. So his mom leaves him essentially. And he just has his father. His father gets killed because they're at a hockey game and the hockey puck kills him or whatever. Can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure that's like how it went. And then he went to go live with his grandmother, who was cool. And then she didn't pay on her taxes or whatever when her husband died. So that's another thing that goes into it just goes right over your head that the reason why a lot of women don't know how to survive when their husbands die is because they were subjected to what they're trying to do right now with women, trying to take away rights, trying to say, oh, the head of the household has the basically, oh, there's a lot that's happening that's horrible. That's just like, I cannot, it's so horrible. The revolution really needs to happen like ASAP, like Rocky fast. as fast as Rihanna keep getting pregnant. I'm so serious. We need to have a revolution as fast as Rihanna will be pregnant after she gives birth. That's how fast we need to have a revolution instantaneously. ASAP, like Rocky Fast. But he went to go live with his grandma. Grandma didn't know nothing because back in the day, it was just the husband who had everything and knew everything. And when he dies, you have no idea how to live. So now she's being sent to a retirement home where Hal L, which is Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller. Let's see. He was from that Zoolander. I watched Zoolander, by the way. I watched Zoolander 1 and 2, and that was gross. I thought it would be a better movie. I don't understand. Y'all, like those memes are really carrying Zoolander. Because I watched that movie, I'm like, that's what like the memes aren't even like they're, and I know you'd be like, oh well, the meme, that's just a little bit, but it like fools you into thinking you're gonna get a better movie, like a funnier movie. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. And Owen Wilson is only funny in certain situations. Like I loved him as Lightning McQueen. I don't understand how it worked like that, but I love Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen. I don't know why. Another movie that he was in that he was funny, and it wasn't even because of him, it was because of Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey's one of the funniest, like, he's one of the funniest guys out there. He is one of the best actors out there as well. Was Cable Guy, which is a movie that I introduced to my boyfriend because it's a very good movie. I highly recommend Cable Guy. Please watch it anywhere. Do whatever you can to watch it. It is a very, very good movie. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. And what I will say is Inspector Gadget, dude. Go Gadget, Ferris Bueller. His name, whatever his name, I don't know his name. Actor Ferris Bueller. He's the new Inspector Gadget that was live action. He's a bad actor. Y'all just gonna have to admit it. Y'all just like to give Anglo-Saxons leeway to be a bad actor and still make money. I don't think that if you're a bad actor, you should still be making money. Because that it doesn't work anywhere else. If you're a bad doctor, you get fired. If you're a bad manager somewhere, you eventually get fired. Because I've noticed that you could be a bad manager in anywhere and they will still keep you in as long as you're making $1 in the store. You're good. It's very strange. But everyone below managers and whatnot, Anglo-Saxon managers, you're suspendable. Like if you're bad at your job, you are removed from that job because there's other people who are hungry and want it and can do it better than you. But for some reason, Anglo-Saxon actors, especially male Anglo-Saxon actors, they can be horrible and still make money. It's a little crazy. I will say Tom Holland is in that category. Tom Holland is not a good Spider-Man. I'm from the school of Tobey Maguire. I don't know. I'm sorry. I love Tobey Maguire more than Andrew, whatever his name is, the middle one. I just call him the middle Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man, and maybe it's because I grew up with him being Spider-Man, but it is what it is. I just feel like it. He's a better Spider-Man than any other. Tom Holland is not a good actor. I'm not even going to get into Zendaya because I feel like this is Tom Holland and then this is Zendaya. Like she's got a little bit on him, a little bit, but not by much. So sorry. So I really do apologize for whoever's feelings hurt is like that, but it is what it is. And people think that if you can cry on command, you're a good actor or actress. And that's just not how that works. That's just not how that's not how the pickle squirts. But like I said, Adam Sandler's a bad actor. We're gonna go back to Happy Gilmore. He ends up losing his grandmother's house anyway because he has all these things like scandals and all the money has to go. And then he's got a daughter and he's got his wife in this movie. He's got his real wife. He's got his real daughter in this movie. And that's 1 billion. When I say that that's 10 trillion% okay, that is fine. Nepo babies, people love to be upset about Nepo babies. But like I said, being an actor is literally a career path. If you're going to have a family business, it's fine or whatever. It's okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're going to be in the same movies. That's the smart thing to do. That's why when Idris Elba, the scrub bum piece of trash that I got beef with too. Yes, I got beef with all them. Idris Elba talk about, oh, well, my daughter's not going to blah, 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 blah. Congratulations. You are a black man who is not giving your daughter the chance that all these Anglo-Saxons are. You got all these white people who will put their daughter, son, grandma, grandfather, grandaunt, grandniece, baby cousin, baby niece, everybody in a movie so they can make money and generational wealth. And you were sitting there on your high horse thinking that you're cool because, oh, she didn't cut the mustard. She can't be my daughter in this movie. She wasn't good enough. And then people will be like, oh, well, you're setting her up for fit. Like I said, Anglo-Saxons, they will throw whoever in there from their family to make that money and make that dough. Because that's what makes this world go round. Y'all could, and they love to talk about, oh, greed and all that. Just like another sidebar, we are going to get into it. We're going to be ranted. Like the rants are back, boy. I saw someone on under one of my videos talk about, we miss your rants. Here they are. There is this dude going around, and I do think he's a black dude. I don't know. He could be whoever. I don't care who he is. He's dropping fake money on the floor and talking about, is this yours? And it's hundreds and hundreds of dollar bills. Fake, mind you, fake. They're not even real because he knows that if he's going to catch the right person and he's going to get shanked for it. He's going to catch the right person and they're not going to talk. They're going to act. So he's putting himself at risk for fake money anyway, which is very sad of him. It's very sad. People think it's so funny. Oh, these are thieves. That's not their money. They're just saying it's their money so they can. Everybody is poor right now. Everyone is poor. I don't think, like, just because you can pay one bill doesn't mean you are one bill away. You are one accident, one situation away from being very poor. Everyone is poor right now. And people don't like to admit it because they associate poor with horrible and bad. Something went wrong. You didn't do anything right. It is the economy's fault. It is our government's fault. People love to be on a high horse, just like Idris Elba talk about, I'm not going to put my daughter in nothing. Good job, dude. Your generational wealth is garbage. Your hustle mentality is trash, and you're teaching her to be just as scum as you. And I hate when black people do that. When they say, well, I'm going to bootstrap it up. No one else is doing that. No one else is doing that. We get shamed into doing bootstrap mentality so that we can suffer for longer. All these Anglo-Saxons throwing their family in anything and everything so they can make that money for a little bit. Adam Sandler let his wife, and I don't even remember who she was in the movie. That's how forgettable Nothing Burger that he put her in there, but she got a credit for it. She got an acting credit for it. She got a wage for it. For something that I don't even remember her being in. The only reason why I know that she's in the movie is because I saw her as credited in there. And maybe she might be executive, whatever, executive producer. All she got to do is say, yep, that looks nice, executive producer. It doesn't take selling your soul to be an executive producer, especially since old dude is an executive producer of the movie. He was already up in the ranks, to be honest. Let's just be honest. Adam Sandler has had a lot of hand into the movies that he's made, and it's very funny how they're all bad. It's very funny. You've been doing this for how long, and you're still horrible. You are still a horrible actor. I don't want to see any movie with Adam Sandler in it. It already goes down like three tally marks. It's already bad before he even starts. He had his wife in there. Yep, he had his wife. He had his daughter. I think she's 16. Jackie Sandler, Monica. Who is Monica? Do y'all remember? The people who watched this, by the way, it's a spoiler review. Spoiler alert. I remember if I said it. I've been talking too long. Literally. Boom. Adam Sandler put his whole family in there, and then Idris Elba is going to sit there and say stupid stuff, being stupid. Right, right, pip, pip, cheerio. Oi. All right, I'm done with that. So, a lot of people liked Happy Gilmore because of the feeling of nostalgia. Like, they had horrible actors in it. That girl from The Substance, I don't like her. She's not a good actress to me. To me, y'all can play games and be like, "Oh, she's comparable to that girl from American Horror Story." No, I think Violet's a better actor than she is. The girl who played Tamara, I don't know what her name is. She's the sister of the girl that was in The Conjuring or something. Whatever, Scream Queen. She's a Scream Queen. She's new generation Scream Queen, and she is not that great of an actress, but she's better than the girl from The Substance that was in this movie with Eric Andre. Like they literally put all the bad actors and actresses in a bowl and threw it up in the air, and then they just caught whoever. Because why is Eric Andre in here? Eric Andre is funny sometimes. Sometimes. He is not funny like Jim Carrey. Like I said, Jim Carrey is one of the funniest people in Hollywood you'll ever find. He is so funny. I may not care for his politics or whatever. He's hilarious. There's nothing else to say. Like Adam Sandler chose the bummiest, scrummiest, dummiest people to go in this movie, and then he's gonna get Marshall Mathers. Marshall Mathers to be the son of the dude that was like Jackie, the heckler. He's not funny. It wasn't funny. A bunch of alligators. The whole alligator bit made no sense. Were they the babies? Another thing that I didn't like, speaking of babies, is Adam Sandler got with that blonde girl at the end of Happy Gilmore. And there was this dude who was talking about, oh yeah, he makes the movies and then he always has the girl look better than him. I'm like, that never happens with women. I hate it so much. Hate it here. Like, there is no equality. There is the illusion of equality. Illusion of equality. But until we have just as many Adam Sandler movies with an ugly woman, hideous woman like Adam Sandler is ugly, we don't have equality. And that's the baseline I'm going to keep it at. Until we get movies where people love it and people accept it and think it's funny and hilarious and is great and says, "Oh, right on. You're the ugliest girl I've ever seen, but you got this hot male next to you." Awesome, bro. Until we get that, we have no equality in this world. That's that on that. But Adam Sandler gets to have every good-looking woman that he does not even deserve. And I would say Drew Barrymore is on his level. Like, Drew Barrymore is definitely on his level. So when they were in movies together, that was great. That made sense. Every other thing where they got a blonde bombshell, Bad Bunny, what's it called? Stupid. It's out of my mind. It's not even there because it just makes no sense and I hate it. Stupid Playboy bunnies in the movies, and then they make them like irredeemable. They'll make him cheat on him even though he's ugly and disgusting and good for nothing usually. Ain't got no job, ain't got no money. The Longest Yard was the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life, or whatever it was called. Whatever it was. It was stupid. Hate that movie. That's one of his worst movies. But if you want to see a good movie with him, it's Cobbler. Cobbler's a good movie. And no one likes it because it's kind of slow going and he doesn't really talk. Perfect. It's perfect. I don't want to hear Adam Sandler talk. Don't want to hear him. But when I said speaking of babies, he's got 4 children. He's got 5 children, but he's got 4 sons or whatever. I think he's got 4 sons. He's got one for every job he had before he became a golfer that used a hockey stick. He's apparently famous in this timeline. He's super famous. Happy is like up there with what's the Tiger Woods? And like no one else can really talk about who's a good golfer. Like name six. I can name six rappers. I can name six actresses. I can name six actors. I can name six doctors. I can't name six golfers. I can't simply. And two of them golfers are fake people that don't exist. So there's that. So there's that. He's got like he's got like four sons. And the only reason why they're in this movie is so they can throw Marshall Mathers into the water so that a bunch of alligators can eat him. That was the only purpose they served. And to show their butt cheeks repeatedly. They did not need to be in this movie. They should have made the daughter more like him. But instead, we have this side story that he was like, you know what? In the good old 2025, we need a story where the girl is like trying to make it to college and she's a dancer. Just make her a dancer. Don't make her a golfer. Don't don't have her be the next generation of golfer. Have Adam Sandler still be the golfer and still have the whole thing. And you can be like, oh, it's happy. It's called Happy Gilmore. It's not called Happy Her. That's fine. We can play that game. But like I said, you had these boys in here for no reason. And then you had this side story with her. Put her story and his story together. And she has more of a purpose to be there. I'm saying it really slow so you can understand. Because apparently you guys think that this is a game. It's not a game. There's four dudes in this movie that don't deserve to get the paycheck they got. They simply don't. Those brothers, they didn't deserve the paycheck they got. That was a little crazy. Yes, it was. So, literally. Um Bad Bunny or whatever, the rapper was in this movie too. It's giving very old school, like token. I don't speak. I'm not from here. Everything is different. I'm an alien. It wasn't a cool look. I don't understand why he was in this movie. That's another character you could have cut out this movie and would have been a lot better. He was not funny. The scenes where it just wasn't funny. Y'all sunk. Y'all did not stick the landing. His like what was funny about the movie is funny. It's hilarious because Eric Andre was not funny. Marshall Mathers being in the movie was not funny. Bad Bunny being in the movie, nothing he brought was cool. The brothers being in the movie, his sons, nothing. It brought nothing. The things that were funny about the movie, oh my gosh. Chubb's son, because he's passed away, um, was Huel from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Two TV shows I love, but has been misinterpreted by the audience to where it's like, holy crap, y'all just missed everything in the whole show. Y'all are like, Walter White's my dad. Walter White's so cool. Walter White. Oh, Skylar's so horrible. Did y'all watch it? Did we watch the same thing? Did you watch it on bootleg 123 movies and you just didn't grasp what was happening because it wasn't the real show? Like the one thing that Skylar did that was bad, y'all are like, well, oh well, Jane deserved to die. He deserved to watch her die. What? What? I'm not gonna even get into it. The things that were funny about this movie, Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment, better known as Sora from Kingdom Hearts, better known as the Icy Dead People's kid from The Sixth Sense with I almost said Vin Diesel, not Vin Diesel, Bruce Willis, both bald, not the same bald. Two good actors. Let me take that back. Vin Diesel's not a good actor. Bruce Willis, that's an insult to Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is a better actor than Vin. So sorry. He was only good in Riddick. because he's very monotone. He doesn't have nothing like the family, whatever, what's it called? Fast and Furious movies, terrible. Terrible. Horrible. So sorry. If y'all love it and y'all just like are gonna die on the hill that you love it and it's great, that's fine. Because I haven't even watched all of them. You can say that what I have to say is invalid. That's fine. Y'all can say that. Everybody came back for their role who was alive. The caddy and everything. Um, Shooter McGavin. Shooter McGavin was he was the funniest part of this movie. Not even Adam Sandler was the funniest part of this movie. Shooter McGavin, yes. Brother is funny. I'm so sorry. He's the villain and he's so funny. He was funny in the movie before. Adam Sandler was hilarious in Happy Gilmore 1. Like I said, it's one of his best movies. Shooter McGavin was funny. He was a jerk, is whatever. But like there were so many callbacks to the movie that like they did not do that in Shrek. There weren't callbacks to the first Shrek movie. Like there was not. Every other scene was a callback to Shrek 1. Shrek 2 and Shrek 1 are independent movies that you can watch separately. And it's great. Yeah? So I'm just like, what was so difficult about making Happy Gilmore 2? Oh, wait. It's because it ended nice and we didn't need it to. And y'all added way too many characters. Like we've got these 3 characters. One dude that I have no idea. I can't remember his name. Not to save my life. That'd be it for me. I'd be dran if I had to name those 3 characters. One of them is a dude, I can't remember his name, like I said. Other girl is from The Substance. I don't know her name from the movie. And then Eric Andre. That whole scene made, like, we didn't need that scene. Haley Joel Osment was another funny part of this movie. He is a funny actor. He's a good actor. He was in What We Do in the Shadows. Every time I see him in a movie or TV show, I'd be just doing like the what's it called? The what's that dude's name? Where he's looking at the camera or looking at the thing and he points at the TV? Leonardo DiCaprio. Took him out of my mind because he's another loser I've got big beef with. Like if I have a long list of big beef people that I just don't like. Idris Elba's on that list. Leonardo DiCaprio's on that list. Adam Sandler's on that list. Rob Schneider's on that list. There's a lot of people on that list. Chris Rock's on that list. He's on it. He can be on it. That's fine. However, Shooter McGavin was the best part of this movie. I don't know what they were thinking with his situation. That's the biggest thing. The worst part of the movie. Let me talk about the worst part of the movie. That dude who was the villain. And it wasn't Shooter McGavin because Shooter McGavin was like kind of his friend, kind of at the middle and end or whatever. He still hated him, but they were like partners in crime, and which I liked. I liked that aspect where they were working together at the end. But the dude who they were like his breath stunk, and I don't know who they were trying to emulate him, like who he's making fun of. He looked like he was wearing a mask. Hopefully that wasn't his real face because it looked crazy. It looked like a mask. The villain, I don't know what his name is. I really don't know. I don't know. He's not even in the top people who were in the movie. Benny Safdie, Frank Manatee, I think his name is. I don't know. He looks like that. Maybe that's him. I don't know his name. I can't remember because it was not a memorable character. Not at all. Not by a long shot. So he's the whole villain, antagonist. If your antagonist is not going to be funny in a comedy, why are you here? Even in Zoolander, Will Ferrell was funnier than this male. And all they had were his breath stinks jokes. We're in 2025. It's just as bad as fart jokes. And they even said that his breath smelled like a fart. So it's basically a fart joke from the other side. Grown men wrote this script. Adam Sandler had a hand in writing the script. He had his daughter in this movie. He had his wife in this movie. He was proud of this movie. And I think they were like, oh, well, I don't care what he says or what tearjerker he he gave to y'all for his excuse for whatever happened and whoever was not in this movie or whoever was in this movie. It's whatever. Um, they had sons of people. Like I said, Chubbs's son was Huel from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and he had a long hand, arm broken thing, which made, like I said, zero logical sense because the whole story behind Chubbs's arm and all that was, oh, he had history with that alligator. That's like having a bunch of other alligators and having his son have the exact same issue makes no sense. It's just another callback. It's just a cheap callback. No, it's not funny. It's not cool. It's like ludicrous, actually, because you could have worked harder. Like I said, Happy Gilmore 2 should have been left in the drafts. It was horrible. It was a horrible movie, 3 out of 10. Horrible. And the whole, like I said, the whole side story with his daughter trying to be in the, and then there's this woman that is teaching her, and they're literally on stilts. They're in this bootleg broken down home, and the 4 boys are out there having the 4 jobs that he had before he became a golfer. Happy Gilmore became a golfer. Like I said, those guys should not be here. His sons did nothing but throw Marshall Mathers into a pond where a bunch of alligators ate him alive, and they kept going. Like the last time there was, in the last movie, in Happy Gilmore 1, when Happy had to go into the water and he fought the alligator, he didn't die. That's the difference. Because y'all are going to talk about, oh, well, there was an attack. There was an attack, but did you see blood? And also, we didn't see blood in this one in the grand scheme of things or whatever, if you want to say, if you want to play games. But he died. He's gone. He's deceased. That's how they got rid of this guy. And that's another reason. They probably couldn't afford Marshall Mathers for but 2 seconds. And that's why he had to get ate up quickly with the swiftness. Because he's like, all right, we've got so many people in this. And then he had Rob Schneider on like a jigsaw trike. Like, because they had to do that whole thing where he went back in his mind. And he's crazy. I'm telling you right now, Happy Gilmore is crazy. He is insane. And that's fine. I'm 1,000,000% fine with that. But this whole same old story, washed up guy, alcoholic. He was drinking out of a cucumber. He was drinking out of stuff. Like he had a bunch of alcohol everywhere. That wasn't funny either. That wasn't funny. It simply was not. Haley Joel Osment isn't even someone who is funny. He's just a good actor. And he acted funnier than the comedians in this movie. I don't know how it got greenlit. I don't know how Happy Gilmore 2 got greenlit, in my opinion. It makes no logical sense. Zero. That money could have went to orphans somewhere. Like, I'm so serious. Everyone's paycheck could have went to feed somebody hungry. Like, they got that paycheck for nothing. I'm starting to think that it was a write-off. This is crazy. It makes no sense. Like, most of the movie was just clips from the old thing. And then let's talk about Hal Al. Now he's a person and he knows people, so he has like his clutches over Happy Gilmore, just like he had his clutches over his grandma when she was in the retirement facility when she lost her house the first time. Like I said, he lost the house and I don't think he got it back. Like, please let me know, because I don't remember him getting it back, actually. After all that, I don't think he got it back. Did he? I don't know, because the whole story it's not about getting the grandma's house back. It's about getting his daughter to go to dance school. Juilliard? Who knows? I can't remember. Dance school. He could care less where. He's just like, dance school, that's what we're going to go with. And that's why I said it didn't make sense. Why are you doing this? This is about golf. You could have had your daughter be like you and be a good golfer. It did not have to be no flurry dance thing just because she's a woman. It literally could have been about golf. Having this side story that makes no integration into the golf story made no logical sense to me. As a writer, made no sense. I'm going to be frank. Did not know why we were doing this whole dance thing. What? And then you had the 4 boys dropping their pants every 2 seconds. That's not funny either. It's revolting. So, literally, there's really not much else to say about Happy Gilmore. It was pretty pathetic. It was not good. He had his whole family in it. And it's crazy how he had no shame about it. Shamelessly had his wife and daughter in this movie. And then the caddy that he strangled, his caddy from the first one strangled his caddy in the second one. And it just looked crazy because it just seemed like everybody was going through the motions. It wasn't organic. Like, it just wasn't a good movie. Terrible. 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 Horrible movie. I'll never watch it again. Can't make me watch it again. It was so bad. My boyfriend was like, let's watch the first one. We gotta watch the first one. Even though we already watched the first one already like a couple times. He was like, we got to watch after this. It was like, we have to watch the first one. I haven't seen a bad sequel like this since The Craft Legacy. Because The Craft Legacy should have been a prequel. Yeah. I went there. I don't think I said this in my original The Craft movie quick bit, but The Craft Legacy should have been a prequel. It should have been about Sarah's mom, and it could have had the other girls' moms in it. It would have been cool to watch back in the other Craft and be like, wait a second, all of their moms were witches? Then they would have to have some explaining as to why they don't use magic anymore. Or they even interact with magic at all. They would have to explain that, or they would have to find some retcon way to do it. But it can happen. I'm telling you right now, I could make a prequel sequel to The Craft and it be right 1,000,000,000% and make a lot of money. The Craft Legacy was a bad movie. And one reason why it was a bad movie is because they added too many characters. There weren't that many characters in The Craft. There weren't. There were the parents that were barely there. We ain't seen Rochelle's parents because she was black. We saw that girl's mom. The girl that was burnt up crispy. We saw that girl living in a trailer with her mom and her stepdad who was assaulting her. And that's why I'm like, I don't know why y'all made Nancy a villain. That was really kind of twisted and messed up. How you're going to watch this girl get assaulted and then have her assault somebody else. I didn't like that in that movie. But The Craft Legacy had way too many people. It did. We are the weirdos, mister. The harken back. Like, stop doing harken back. I can't think of a good sequel who harkens back and says the exact lines from the first movie. Unless it's something like hi, like something that you just say. And it's not to say that, oh, it's this. Oh, remember this? Stop. Then don't make the movie. If you can't have the movie stand on its own, and yes, you can say, well, it's a sequel. It has to have some sort of connection. It does, yes. You get that part. But what you don't get is that it can't just be clips from the first movie. 30% of Happy Gilmore 2 is just clips from the first movie. 20% separate from that. A whole 20% of that movie is hearkening back to the first movie with callbacks. We're doing callbacks. People's pants are falling down. This dude's getting ate up by alligators. Chubbs' son, his son, who, when you're born, you don't have what's the aftermath. You have what's in your gene pool. If I put on purple contacts and I gave birth, my child should not have purple eyes. That's not how that works. So why does Chubbs' son have a long extended arm that is wooden? It was just a gag. And it's like, whatever. You could play games and be like, oh, no. That one singular dingular gag, I'll be fine with. Not the 9 others. The 9 others that you literally plucked from the first movie. You plucked from the first movie. You took it and put it in Happy Gilmore 2. Terrible, horrible movie. I'm so done talking about Happy Gilmore. We can stop talking about Happy Gilmore right now. Does anybody have anything to say about Happy Gilmore before I move on to King of the Hill's revival? Because a lot of people talk about it as a reboot, and I'm here to fight with people today. I'm here to fight. Ding ding. I'm here to fight. I'm here to play. I'm here to go. I'm ready to roll. Because the difference between a revival and a reboot, here's an example. You know that Scream movie with the Scream face that didn't look like the Scream mask? That was stupid and it looked disgusting. And it looked like they not only went to Party City, but they went to Party City on some shady website. That was a reboot. Remember the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where it was a different thing where she was like, oh, this is my land. And then girl moved out and whatnot and whatever. That was Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever. And then the one where he had his whole family and they were eating people. That's the original. And then that is a reboot. A revival means you are reviving a story from where it left off. That's what King of the Hill is goddamn doing. Goddamn doing. We are starting back off from where we left, essentially. That's what the beginning part is. That's what the opening OP is. That's what it is. It's showing them drinking in the alley. It's showing them getting older. It's showing them doing everything that they did before. And now they're older. That's a revival. This King of the Hill is not a reboot. If it was a reboot, it'd be different. It would look different. It would be different. It would be in a different style. It would be a reboot of an old franchise. That's the difference between a revival and a reboot. A remake. Now let's talk about remake because it's not a remake. Let's talk about a remake. So, Resident Evil 2, the original, and then the Resident Evil 2 remake. That's a remake. It looks different. It's updated. It's the same story. We can play games because the remakes of Resident Evil, they have not been doing a good job. So sorry. Wah. You can cry about it. Resident Evil 4 is the best remake that they've made, unfortunately, with a heavy heart. And a lot of people don't like to say that because, there's some things missing. There's some things that are different. Louis Sarah didn't freaking talk about breasts, so now it's ruined. You can't look up Ashley's skirt, now it's ruined. Problems. You have issues. Seek help. If you are that butthurt about like a cartoon, you really got to go seek help. But Resident Evil remakes, it's the same story, essentially. It's supposed to be the same story. It's supposed to be the same situation, just upgraded, updated in now times. That's what a remake is. So now, class, we know the difference between a reboot, a revival, and a remake. We've done this plenty of times. I have had to argue with people about it a lot, and that's 1,000,000,000% fine. We can keep arguing about it, but we are going to discuss right now in this moment. I'm done talking about what's it called? Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 2 gets a 3 out of 10. It's very horrible, very disgusting. Ain't nobody want to see that. Marshall Mathers ain't do nothing for me. Nobody that was in that movie did nothing for me. They can jump off a bridge. I invite them to jump off belly flop style off a bridge. And that's just what I have to say about it. We're going to talk about King of the Hill. So I watched every episode of season 14. Season 13 ended on, we knew Boomhauer's occupation. Everybody is together and meet and all that. What I will say right now, this second, I've already discussed how I feel about Hank Hill, how I feel about King of the Hill, how I feel about Peggy Hill, and how I feel about Bobby Hill, along with the rest of the people. And a lot of people are going to not like what I have to say about Hank Hill. Hank Rutherford Hill is a bad father. There are good aspects of Hank. There are. And I'm not saying there aren't good aspects of Hank. He, out of all of the people, Bill, Boomhauer, Dale, and himself, if the bar is already an HE double hockey stick, he's a little bit higher than that. That's all I have to say about that. If you want to know more, my opinion specifically about that situation, link will be in the description of this video where you can find my original video that I talked about King of the Hill, if a revival or a reboot or whatever they were trying to do could happen. If it could come back. And I'm like, I felt like it could, but it would be difficult. And a lot of people would call it woke because, like I said, there were a lot of things that were put on display and y'all misinterpreted it just like you misinterpreted Breaking Bad. Y'all misinterpreted Breaking Bad to where you think Walter White's your daddy and you think he's great and you think selling meth is amazing. And you think that despite not only did he lie to his wife and try to cheat on his wife, but ain't nobody want his crusty, dusty balls. No one wanted his crusty, dusty, curly balls. He would have cheated on Skylar had he not have been crusty, dusty, and pathetic. But y'all are going to say that he is not, even though he's selling meth and slinging meth, and literally 2 cartel members went into his home and waited for him. His son could have been there. His daughter could have been there. He did not care. He was trying to make that meth money for himself and say that it was for his family. Y'all are going to say because Skylar cheated on him and said, oh, I cheated on you, and she didn't even like him. You're going to say she's horrible because she took the money and tried to do something good. Y'all are going to say that she's as bad, if not worse, than a man who sat there and watched a girl die and choke on her own vomit. He didn't even have the wherewithal and gall to kill her himself. He had to watch her OD. So not only is he a scrub bum piece of loser trash garbage, but he's also a coward at that. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about King of the Hill, season 14, episode 1, Return of the King. So they come back from Saudi Arabia. Apparently they have a lot of money. A lot of people are saying that Hank and they now have a lot of money. Budasak was not, everyone said, I'm telling you, I put millions of dollars. Someone owes me money because I literally said, I bet money that is not Budasak. Y'all are literally saying that just because he's the only black man that y'all remember from King of the Hill, when there were quite a few, there were a few, I say a few black people. And I think it was like, Bernie Mac was in that. Bernie Mac was in King of the Hill. King of the Hill was, every episode had a guest star voice. It was very cool. I don't necessarily know how King of the Hill started. I mean, I know how based on what the actor said, the voice actor said, how it came to be, because it was like kind of like a sort of a spinoff from Beavis and Butthead, but it became better than Beavis and Butthead because ain't nobody care about Beavis and Butthead right now. Like, it's nostalgia that got y'all in a chokehold with Beavis and Butthead. Ain't nobody like Beavis and Butthead. King of the Hill was better than Beavis and Butthead. I'm just saying that out loud. They return to Arlen to find that everything's different. Instead of Samoa cookies, they're delights. They're like caramel delights or whatever, and he's fine with it. He ultimately, like, Peggy and him holding hands in public is a big deal. And that's the first thing that happens in the season. Like, that's the first big thing. Bobby is he is in Dallas. He wanted to go to Dallas. He said he was going to Dallas. He's in Dallas. Because his father is horrible. Because he had a horrible father. And he even admits in one of these episodes that he's like, propane came before me sometimes. Their dog came before him sometimes. Hank is a horrible father. And y'all can talk about all the bad things you want to say about Peggy Hill, and I will tell you 10 bad things about Hank. And then you guys are going to blame Cotton. And that's another thing. Y'all love to let guys get away with murder Y'all let them get away with murder, and they'd be like, well, he don't know no better. He don't know. Whole grown man don't know no better because he was raised by Cotton Hill. And that's an episode that they even bring up. Like, I love King of the Hill. I love it. Y'all misinterpret crap like nobody's business. But Bobby is in Dallas. He's in Dallas. He comes back to Ireland because his family's there. But he is literally in Dallas. He's got a German, I don't necessarily know why, but German fusion with like Asian inspired, and he is in business with Chain Wasana-san. That is something that I didn't believe, because Chain Wasana-san beat him up. I'm not gonna get beat up by somebody and then you're a part of my situation. And people are gonna be like, well, it's because Chain Wasana-san has money and da 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 da, and it's like a contract. You don't have to be friends with someone who you're in business with. No, you don't. But you kind of have to have some form of trust. Some form of trust. God dang. So what happens pretty much in the beginning is he meets up with Connie. Connie clearly has something going on. And mind you, what I don't like is how men can like roll around in the bed with anybody and everybody. And there is an episode in season 14 where they basically slut shame Connie for being in an open relationship with Chain Wasana-san. Spoiler doiler. For some reason, just as it makes no sense that Bobby is in a work relationship with Chain Wasana-san, it makes a little more sense that she's with Chain, because her family, both of their family, they are like, oh, we need to keep within the community situation, like the Laotian community. And that makes more sense than Bobby Hill. Like it doesn't make it seem like she's in the wrong, but it shows that Bobby judges her. He judges her for being in a relationship with Chain Wasana-san, but you are in a business deal with him. And how did you not know that he was in a relationship with her when you guys are in business? That's why this whole thing doesn't make any sense. Him realizing that they're together, it just isn't, it didn't make no sense to me. I didn't like that. Literally, Peggy is still trying to say she knows everything, but that's just her, literally. I don't like that throughout the years of King of the Hill, they made her less reliable. Because the whole gimmick with King of the Hill was irony, right? So Hank couldn't have children because of narrow urethra. Usually, women are blamed for the reason why they can't have children. So that was the irony of that situation. Every single situation in King of the Hill was saturated in irony. Another example of irony. Con Jr., he wanted a son. He got a daughter. Her name's Con Jr. Irony. Right there. Dale Gribble. Dale Gribble loves John Redcorn. In one of these episodes, he's got everyone who he doesn't trust, and the only person he trusts is the person sleeping with his wife. Irony. Like, so it's not that Peggy is wrong and she always is wrong. It's that they wrote her a certain way that made no logical sense. The irony of Peggy was she was right a lot of the times. Go back to season 1. Go back to season 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 6 might be when she starts turning. But literally, go back to the earlier moments of King of the Hill and you tell me who's more right. Because around the time 13, 12, 11, 10 is when for some reason Dale Gribble is more right than Peggy Hill. Made no logical sense. Zero goose egg logical sense that Dale Gribble is more right than Peggy Hill. Sometimes he was right, and it was because he was in the right place at the right time. Like, he knew that they were in a cult. They discussed cults. in King of the Hill. They had a cult episode, which I didn't necessarily like how they handled a little part of it, but it's whatever. It's a good cult. It's one of my favorite episodes from King of the Hill. The Jane Jam Jelly, y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know King of the Hill, you know. But they started making it seem like Dale was always in the right and Peggy was always in the wrong, and that made no sense. The whole irony of Peggy's story, her whole character was that she was a woman and no one believed her and she was right. That was the irony of Peggy Hill. And they are all podunk from Podunk Town, from Hillbillyville. They all don't know what they're talking about. They all call Echo, all of them. But they make it seem like Peggy is the most podunk person when she's not even from there. Hank, Bill, Boomhauer, and Dale all went to school together. Peggy moved from one place to there, and that's how they met. But they kind of do some things sometimes and make it seem like they knew each other before then, or they do certain stuff sometimes. But that's just continuity. It's not going to always be the exact same. But we know that Peggy is not from where they are from. She was born on a ranch. And that even was a new phenomenon that they kind of threw in there. But she was educated enough, because she didn't know Spanish. She didn't know Spanish from Spanglish, okay? I will give you that. That was another ironic thing. That was another irony thing. She was a substitute teacher for Spanish and she didn't know Spanish. Irony. See the pattern? Bobby was his only son. Some ruffle tumble guy who played football. His son wanted to be an actor. That was the irony of it. He couldn't have no more children, couldn't try again. He loved his dog more than his one son that he worked so hard to have. Irony. Bad father. He's a bad father. If you say Peggy's a bad mother, yeah, okay, you can say that if you want to, but she is a better mother than he is a father. And I will say this right now. Buck Strickland is alive still somehow. He did have a heart attack, and I really do feel like that should be how he goes out, because he kept saying that he was having a heart attack just to fake getting out of having to owe people money. And Hank said that he wanted to go to the person that knew the most about money, because the final episode of season 14 has Peggy and everybody in the group family situation put money in to a stock. And it's like this new stock thing that Peggy came up with. She is very intelligent. Out of all these podunk bums, out of everybody in Podunkville, in the dirt and sticks, she is more intelligent. When she was written to not know what she was talking about and Dale know more about anything than she did, that was the writers. That were male writers doing that. Because her Luann, and I will tell you right now, the only time you see Luann and Lucky is in a picture. Both of their actors have passed away, but that hasn't stopped people from making TV shows and movies. I really don't understand why people say, oh, they're not replaceable. Let people have jobs. How about that? I'd love to hear the voice actors come back and stuff, but if they're gone in the grave, then you can replace them, because you replaced Dale. So if you guys are going to replace Dale, why on earth are you guys not replacing Lucky and Luann? There's no excuse, zero logical excuse, because you didn't kill off Dale. When Dale's voice actor died in the middle of filming, y'all got another dude who sounds better than he did in the beginning, and that's unfortunate. We will talk about voice actors right now, because everyone keeps arguing and being upset because Khan sounds like a white guy doing an Asian impression. And they're saying that the white guy who did the Asian impression of Khan sounded better. And that's irony. That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing about King of the Hill. It still works. Now they have an Asian person playing Asian people. And the reason why Connie and Min sound the same is because they are the same actress from a long time ago, and it's the same girl playing both of them. They're both Asian, so they didn't have to get rid of her. But first of all, like I said, let people have jobs. Let people have jobs. Let people have jobs. We're broke out here, broke as a stone, broke as a joke. Let people have jobs. Y'all are gonna argue and talk about, oh, hashtag not my super newsome, not my con, because he doesn't sound the way you want him to. He doesn't sound like a caricature of an Asian person. And like I said, it's still funny that this Asian man, that y'all chose the wrong Asian man. I don't like the guy, the guy himself that does the voice for Khan now. I don't like him. I don't like him. Look up anything about him. I promise you, you'll find something you don't like. He's just not a likable person. But it's so funny that he sounds like a white person trying to sound Asian. It is very funny. It's funny. It's ironic. That's what King of the Hill is. Every single aspect of King of the Hill is drenched deep in irony. And y'all don't understand that. It goes over your head. And that's completely fine. Y'all just got to get with it and stop making these videos about how this and that. And oh, you just don't understand it. You simply don't. So Bobby and Joseph are roommates. And now they're in like an apartment or whatever together. And Joseph thinks he's a white person. So unfortunately, I personally would have loved if he was very muscular and was like John Redcorn and he understood that he was John Redcorn's son. He still doesn't. He looks just like him now. I mean, he looked just like him before, but he looks way more like him now. John Redcorn is still in the situation. He passed away. His voice actor was killed. His voice actor was killed. And it was horrible. And I hope his family gets justice for his death. The people who were his co-workers, because like I said, this is a job. They should have done something more than just in love and memory. Rest in peace. They should have did more. They should have crowdfunded. They should have did something for him and his family. But they didn't. So it's crazy. Let's see what else. Even though Nancy and John Redcorn broke up, they're still together again. They're still cheating. Now they're in business together, and Dale still thinks it's a good idea for them to be in business together and they make money. She is like I said, Peggy is very intelligent. She's just from Podunk world. She's just a part of the redneck society. So she's just as intelligent as the school she went to in that aspect. She's just as learned. Okay? So, yeah, she'll say things that are wrong. So does Dale. So does Boomhauer. So does Hank. Because they're all in that same group. But Boomhauer is with a woman who has a son. So that's his stepson. And there's an episode where he is a soccer coach and he's like, I don't like this. I don't care. And there's this black guy, Mr. Johnson, I think his name is, they call him, that was holding their house, that was house sitting for them when they were in Saudi Arabia. He is like here and there sometimes. He doesn't really have kids that interact or can be a part of that group. It would have been cool if he had a daughter or something, and that would cause conflict with Connie and them. And that would be cool if like Connie was like gay and then she was with her. That would have been interesting, or bisexual. But of course not, because that would have been ironic. It's like Bobby was dating the black girl who was the daughter of Mr. Johnson or whatever his name is, the house sitter for the Hills. And then they get introduced and then he finds out that they're dating together, like they kiss or something. That would have been ironic. But instead we have this Chain Wasana-san crap that I don't understand. I don't understand how Chain got into a business relationship with Bobby. I don't know how that. I mean, like I said, it's more believable that what's her face, and they end up breaking up anyway. So it doesn't even stay. It doesn't even stick. It doesn't even matter. They break up anyway because they're in a what's it called? A group relationship, open relationship. And then Connie acts like she doesn't realize that they're in an open relationship, but it's not just because you're in an open relationship doesn't mean you guys don't talk to each other. They might as well not even be dating the way that they are in an open relationship. And the whole thing about soccer is that's all Hank had, so he knows the things about soccer. Dale kidnaps him. Like I said, Dale is the worst one. And for them to raise him up above Peggy, because they do that a lot in the later episodes. They do that a lot in the later episodes. They make it seem like Dale is more rational. He put chloroform over the mouth of Hank Hill and he didn't kick him in his rear. The old Hank, and you could be like, oh, he's older now. Oh, this and that and the other. This is an animation. You can do whatever the freak you want. This is an anime. You can do whatever the freak you want. This man could have kicked him in his rear. He kidnapped Hank because he didn't believe that he was like, oh, he's from Saudi Arabia now. He's working with Saudi Arabian government. And because he never liked soccer. He hated soccer. But that's all he had over there. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna accept it. Some people change. Some people change. And Dale didn't understand that. So he basically had to fake it just like he did every other time when he kidnapped him and Bobby and they were in the woods and he was going to take their blood and put his blood into him because he had rabies, or he thought he had rabies because he got bit by the raccoon that Bobby had as a pet. It's crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot. That was a lot. Like Hank usually likes to literally kick people in their butt. Like kick. That's what his thing is. So I expected that. I didn't see it. I was like, he just got up and walked out after that whole nonsense. And he missed it when he got back to the soccer league with Boomhauer's stepson, which I don't necessarily like that they call him stepson. I think they did that so that they'll be like, okay, we know that that's not Boomhauer's child, even though Boomhauer has. Wait, he doesn't have a child. He was what was going on was I think he was dating a girl who had John Redcorn's daughter, and they were trying to make sure that the half children were not liking each other because they were like getting too close. And Peggy was one of the only people who were trying to stop that from happening. Because everyone likes to act like that Nancy's not an infidel. That's one thing that I'm like, that would have already been blown. And I don't know what would happen or whatever. And they're like, oh, Dale's on it. If that man can't handle stuff, like he is putting chloroform over your face and you dare call him friend still, he needs to be in jail, prison, locked up, gone, throw away the key. Death sentence. Like, and then let's talk about Bill. So they rushed through him being overweight. I thought we were going to get like a my 600-pound life situation where he needed to do weight loss surgery or something. They could have dragged that out a long way, but he's in his house after COVID. He worked as a barber in a black barbershop. I have to let you know that it's a black barbershop because they keep saying it. And when COVID happened, he didn't have anywhere to go, so he just got fat. And nobody was caring. Like, nobody, why do you have to get, like I said, if you can't take care of yourself or whatever, and you are subject to harm other people or yourself, something needs to be intervened, and it's not the job of everybody around you to do that, especially when he does that for attention anyway. Every Christmas, everybody protects Bill because he always tries to commit suicide. And that was bad enough. But what he does in episode 6 is the craziest thing in the world. He told all of the people at the black barbershop that he had Hank's life and Hank's wife. And when Peggy finds out, she's not as upset as I thought she would be until the end. And she tells him to stop it. And how he stops it is says that to them that she died. So they still think she was married to him, just that she's dead. And they all live in the same town. And they all live in the same circle. And then some guy saw her and he thought that he saw an angel. These are the friends that y'all say that are great. Like friends. With friends like this, who needs enemies? Who needs them? And then let's talk about Bobby for a second. So he's got that thing, cultural appropriation was kicked around. There's an episode where there's like a black Japanese guy who he's trying to get charcoal from, and then they're like, oh, just use propane. And that's another thing I hate, that like this whole thing with the propane situation. He used charcoal because that's what he wanted to do, and he has every right to do it because that's what he wants to do. Everybody has been protecting Hank from having to deal with the fact that propane's not the best in the world and charcoal's better. And that is an episode that is annoying. It's annoying and I don't like it because I'm so sick of Hank being like coddled like he's a baby. He's coddled like a baby. Grown man. But Bobby like rolls around in the bed with like multiple women this whole season. But the moment Connie says she's in an open relationship, he gets in a relationship with this girl who is stealing from his restaurant. Bobby gets in a relationship with a girl, Willow, who you'd think that she's like very open and very free loving, and she's a tomboy. So she gets along with Hank, but for a little bit until Hank sees her crap on somebody's desk, which I thought was funny. But I think they did that on purpose, and I don't necessarily like that episode either. It's like she's great until she craps on somebody's desk. And then she and Bobby laugh. He laughs at Connie's expense about their relationship being open, basically calling her a harlot. And Bobby laughs. Bobby was mean to Connie. Go watch the previous seasons and tell me what episode they break up. Oh, and by the way, they break up multiple times. I don't care, love, whatever, young love. Connie and Bobby should not be together. I was hoping to God that Connie was going to be gay or bisexual, saved from not having to be with Bobby. But unfortunately, we're doing the same crap over again. Hate it. And I guess that's the ironic thing. They shouldn't be together, but they're together. Ironic, I guess. It doesn't make sense to me how after Bobby treated her poorly and cheated on her. Go watch it. Please don't believe me. I really hope you don't believe me. I hope so. Go watch it. Go watch it. Bobby was horrible to Connie and didn't believe her. And when she said something, he was like, whatever, let me blow you off because he has a horrible father. And we could talk about how let's just continue, right? So let's just say that the next episode, the Khans, Supernus and Pones, they're divorced. And they are like talking about how Hank and Peggy are horrible because they weren't married as long as them. And all they had to do was just shut up and say nothing. And then Peggy is always told, you can't say anything. You can't speak your mind. Hank can do whatever and go half-cocked whenever, and do whatever that makes him feel good. But Peggy is always told, shut up. Don't say anything. When she learned about John Greg Corn, she was going to go tell Dale. She's like, why are you guys? And he was like, oh, it's not your business to say. It's the business when it's in your face. It's the business when the dude that can't keep it in his pants so much has a child that is in the proximity of another child he has, and they start getting along a little too well. That's when it becomes everybody else's business. Yeah. So the Super Nusapones are having this big old thing with all of the Laotian community talking about, oh, congratulations on your marriage and da 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 da. And then basically, because they're not married, it's insult to the community, and Shane shouldn't be with Connie, and it's like, duh. I didn't think they should be together anyway. She shouldn't be with Bill, with Bobby. Should not be with Bobby. No one should be with Bill. No one should be with Bill. No one. He doesn't deserve a relationship. But the next episode has Hank talking. I was wondering when we were going to get to GH. And I can't believe, instead of calling this guy Hank the Second or Hank the Third or whatever, however you want to do it, I personally would say Hank the Second would be less insulting to Hank. And I hate Hank. I hate him. And I still think calling that boy Good Hank is disgusting. It makes no logical sense and sets everyone up for failure. Everyone in that situation. And Cotton didn't even care because he was some crusty, dusty piece of garbage that got this girl pregnant and died. That's why I can't stand like Scorsese. Dude, that's 98, had a baby. He's going to be in the grave before that baby is even in school. That is so selfish. Women are called selfish every day for wanting to do something or do anything and be anybody. But guys can just throw their penis around, squirt in everybody, and die and leave the child left behind. It's disgusting. This episode is more Cotton driven. It's literally like Andrew Tate's loser meat man that has all these guys talking about, yeah, these females are horrible. Yeah, every woman in your life's horrible. Da 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 da. That's what Good Hank. He's talking and listening to those podcast guys, and then Hank doesn't understand because he is ignorant. Not only is he ignorant, but he's a fool who is a grown adult who he hired someone who was under the influence, and his own son at the age of 11, 12, or 13, however old he was at the time, knew that the dude that he hired was under the influence of this particular drug he was under the influence of, and he is a little child. He understood that. Bobby was very inquisitive. He was very intuitive. He was very intelligent. As a child, he understood things. And his father gave him no credit for it. He said that boy ain't right. He said that man ain't right. Still. Because he wanted charcoal and not propane. Scrub. I hate Hank Hill. Hate him. He's a horrible father. And no one calls it out. No one. But he doesn't even research this guy before they go to the camp. That's making fun of the guy that basically everyone calls him like gay pretty much because he likes to have these guys naked and rolling around in dirt and mud. And like, it's like a embarrassing ritual. It's like an embarrassment ritual where he has them like rubbing up against each other and stuff. They're making fun of Andrew Tate, all of them. They're making fun of incels. They're making fun of red pill, black pill, all those people. They're making fun of them in this episode. GH goes to a men's camp where they're all together and they're all talking about how horrible every woman is in their life, and Hank is the reasonable one in the situation because it's called King of the Hill. He has to be the hero, and he has the golden balls of truth or something. As long as they have the balls in their hand and they're holding them and they smell them, they can talk. So they're talking about, oh yeah, women are horrible, and Hank's like, no, women are good, da 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 da, you got to do this. And then He's like, I was friend zoned. He's like, why don't you want to be her friend? Why can't you just be her friend? He's like, because she led me on. He's like, she didn't lead you on, but you stink. Eventually he understands that these people are gross. This has happened countless times. Hank has went full throttle. Jimmy Richard, he told Bobby to go and be employed by a man named Jimmy Richard. Even Dale Gribble knew Jimmy Richard was ridiculous and should not have been trusted with his son. He let Buck Strickland take his son to a strip club. He let Cotton take his son to what he thought was a brothel. And the fact that Hank knew that he did that to him and he's going to let Cotton take his son anywhere, he's a bad father. But this season 4, episode 9, he actually does some sort of something and helps Good Hank. I think Hank the Second is more appropriate. I don't like that his name is Good Hank. I don't know why they even still call him that. I don't even know why they don't just say GH or something like else, but they call him Good Hank, and that's gonna inflate his mind too. It's just a recipe for disaster. All in all, at the end of it all, they go back and everything's fine. The guy who is the coach for all of the men, they all find out that the coach has his wife or his mom or somebody, I think it's his mom, paying for everything. So behind all of that is a woman's money, not him, because he still lives at the house with his mom. And then the last episode of season 14, it is very fast. Like I said, Bill's transition from big old huge guy, 600-pound life to regular back to where he was too fast. Way too fast. It was one season. They should have had like him be like that for at least 2 seasons. At least. And not to say that he had to be outside the house or inside the house, because it seemed like he was bedbound. But they could have had him in a hover around something. They could have did anything. They fast tracked that thing because I feel like they have no intention on continuing King of the Hill like it used to be. There were 13 seasons before this season that happened. Now there's 14. I have no doubt in my mind that they have no intention on making 14 more seasons or 13 more seasons or 12 even 5. I highly doubt it gets to 5 before they're done with it. But John Redcorn makes a thing. He makes red corn, so he tells them all. And then at this time, the last episode, if you just watch the first episode and hear Dale, it sounds like an older version of Dale. When you watch season 14, episode 10, it sounds like the younger version of Dale because it's the new actor who's the voice actor who plays him now, because like I said, he's passed away. John Redcorn did his lines for the show, but he's passed away. So he will not be in the newer seasons unless he's got some voice lines that they can use, which I would still feel that was strange. I say they just replace him and call it a day. What they're probably going to do is because they don't want to get another Native American who is going to literally accept whatever they've got to say about it. They're not going to want to pay another Native American, probably. They're probably going to kill them off so that they don't have to worry about the whole Nancy thing and Joseph thing, which is like I said, it's still a part of the irony. That would be the worst thing they could do. I would probably not watch it anymore if they just killed off John Redcorn just because his voice actor is gone. Makes no sense because Dale, like I said, Dale's still there. Dale's still there. He's going to still be here. But that's what made his friends make the investment with Peggy. Hank literally says, no, oh, it's not good. I told Buck, and he said it wasn't good, but Buck ends up buying it because Buck is scum. He's scum. Buck is scum. And I don't know why Hank still treats him like his father, even though his father's scum. And I guess I answered my own question. He's traumatized, and he's not going to stop. But don't drag everybody and your wife and your son into your degradation, bro. Leave that over there. Because you put your son clearly at risk, and you're still talking to Buck Strickland. And he demoted you because you said you loved him. You didn't say, show me them testicles. You didn't assault him. You just said, I love you. And you could have just said you were joking if you really wanted to. He got demoted because he said he loved Buck. He knows that he sleeps with almost all the women that he employs. He has sex with every woman he employs. But he still calls him a good man. And after all that, he ends up putting stock into the company. And there's this whole thing where Peggy's like, well, I'm going to use my half. And he's like, that's not how that works. It's our half. And then he was like, well, I don't want my half to go in there. And the moment he puts his half in there, he tanks the whole thing. And everybody loses money. Everyone. Except Peggy, because like I said, she's intelligent and she took out before all that happened. And she says, oh, well, it's because I heard your voice and it helped us out because it's whatever. So now people are saying that they're wealthy. People were saying they were already wealthy because they were in Saudi Arabia making money. But I don't know. This whole season, it was good. I think it was a good start. It was a good start. But I have no doubt in my mind they're going to get rid of John Redcorn. I don't think they have the bandwidth, the wherewithal to continue with John Redcorn being in the show. And I think I'm probably done for now. I'm gonna go get something to eat because I was gonna talk about a few other things, but I don't think I will. There's this movie that I watched called Locked, and it had what's his face in it from Hannibal. And I wanted to make a video, but I might just make a separate video for that. My software, I'm just gonna let y'all know right now, every time I try to get up with something, somebody just stops me. It's I don't know what it is, but the software I use to edit my videos no longer works on my computer. And I don't know why. It will continue, it will go, and then after 3 hours of me waiting for it to edit and download, it will say error, and I will have nothing to show for it after 3 hours. So it's hard for me to edit videos now. I have to invest in a new software that won't bum out on me. So you're probably going to get videos like this. You're probably going to get just YouTube videos or Twitch videos. You're probably going to get YouTube shorts. You're probably not going to get what you used to get from me. You're going to get lives and stuff because I can edit better with a live than with other stuff. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. Let me know what you think about the King of the Hill season 14, the new season. Let me know what you think about it. Like, subscribe, share. I am gonna be live on Twitch soon. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I'm just hungry. I'm kind of tired. I feel like I'm gonna pass out because I've just been up from like 6 to midnight every day. I'm just running on 6 hours sleep every day, 6 hours or less. I haven't really been eating a lot. I'm just doing the best I can to survive, bro. That's all I've got. That's all I have. I have no more energy to do anymore.